What about Bama and Tennessee? Bama's on the road. Tennessee has been incredible. Bama is laying 7.5 points on the road. And you have an offensive tackle from Bama you want to talk about.
Another transfer. This one comes from Vanderbilt, where he was excellent in Tyler Steen. Really good player, man. I think he's excellent in the run game as well, too. So, and when you're talking about running left side, which is primarily the weak side in terms of the run game, everybody's usually right-handed. They want to run toward the tight end. It speaks volumes of how good you are as a player when they're running weak side. And that's was something he was doing at Vanderbilt. He stepped right in and started at Alabama at left tackle, and has been one of the better offensive linemen. So I feel like with Tennessee's defensive front being active like they have been, you talk about matchup football. Steen, drawing probably their best pass rusher, is going to have his hands full. But he's someone that not only can win in pass pro, but I think in a run game, which is going to be key for Alabama to keep this one from being a track meet, is going to be huge. And people are going to keep an eye out there for Steen, who again was excellent at Vanderbilt and has been equally as excellent at Alabama.
I didn't realize that he was a Vanderbilt transfer. That's wild, by the way. And also, I'm all for the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they should do something where you shouldn't go in conference. Like that, like there's something that rubs me the wrong way. Like if I was in the Ivy League and some dude from Harvard transferred to Princeton, I'd be like, what? Get the heck out of the lot. It just feels like I know Vanderbilt and Alabama aren't like big rivals. It's the best team and the worst team in the conference. But there's just feels something weird about in the same transferring in the same conference.
Yeah, it does feel like that might be the only um caveat that you could transfer freely to wherever you want to, except in conference, because I feel like that kind of yields itself to um what you call that, not tampering, like where, hey, we're Vanderbilt, we're playing Bama, we're blowing Bama out, but man, after the game, go up to the line, hey man, if you enter the transfer portal, we got a spot for you here at Bama. I feel like
Yeah.
that could happen, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying, in conference.
Yeah, that doesn't feel right. So, Tennessee, all anybody talks about Tennessee is their offense, Emory, except for you. You got multiple linebackers you want to talk about? More than one linebacker?
More than one linebacker, man, because I feel like depending on who plays, Milrow or Bryce Young, linebacker play is going to be crucial. And they have two athletic linebackers in Jeremy Banks and Aaron Beasley. Both guys are long, they could run. They're good versus the run. They fit the run rather well, but they also are solid dropping back in coverage. So, how well they played the run game of Alabama with Milrow if he's back there running around, or how well they do in pass coverage and playing the run also if Bryce Young is back there, because both guys can trigger and blitz rather well, but they are solid, good linebackers. And it's hard to find. The reason I was so focused on linebackers, because we were fresh off that Sunday night game and watching the Ravens play. I'm like, man, Ravens could use a linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Like, they found a target and the Bengals were targeting him constantly. And you see that a lot, man, where a guy is supposed to make these plays, but he doesn't. But these two linebackers here for Tennessee make the plays that are there to be made. And I think are good enough to where you can keep them on the field for all three downs. And again, in this game, this situation, you're facing potentially two separate styles of quarterbacks, and they're going to be huge in this game.
All right. So I am looking, Emory, at DraftKings Sportsbook right now. And Alabama is on the road. We don't know who the quarterback is. And they're laying 7.5 points. A lot of respect still for Alabama with the way Tennessee has played. What are you doing here?
This is one of the Volunteers' first real tests. And we saw them. Now, granted, LSU's offense isn't the dynamic offense, but Jaden Daniels was putting the ball on the money. And those receivers for LSU just kind of, I've never seen a collective group just check out. You know what I'm saying? Like the amount of drops. So, but Tennessee's defense did play well. They won on all three facets: offense, defense, special teams. And, this is the game where they want to prove themselves and show themselves. And this is the type of offense that we usually see lead to Nick Saban blowing a gasket on the sideline. So I feel like this 7.5 points, I'm taking Tennessee in the points here. This one's going to be very close because of how Tennessee plays, how good they are defensively, and how good they are offensively. This is a quarterback that can run, that can throw the deep ball with precision consistently. And we know Alabama's defensive backs, they love to play in phase, which means they're going to draw a lot of holding and pass interference penalties. So I see Tennessee having some success throwing the ball against this defense. So I'm going to take Tennessee in the points. This is a field goal type game, not a touchdown and a half.
Totally agree.